Many companies buy products from a manufacturer or wholesaler and then resell these products to their customers. The term for these type of companies is merchandising company, and it's important for accounts to understand how to record the sale of these products correctly and to include the correct sales tax amount. We'll be using our textbook example of Max Out Sporting Goods, which sells the latest sporting goods and sportswear for men, women, and children. It's a retail business, and Max Ferrero is the sole proprietor of the firm. Merchandising businesses require a different chart of accounts than a service business because merchandising businesses sell products, not services. In addition, a retail business requires an inventory system to record the merchandise that is purchased, that has been sold, and that is on hand at any time during the accounting cycle. In our example, Max Out Sporting Goods buys products from its suppliers and posts its available for sale inventory in an account called merchandise inventory. Merchandising companies use either the periodic or the perpetual inventory system. The periodic inventory system is the most commonly used method for small companies, and under the periodic system, the available inventory is determined by counting merchandise inventory on the shelves. That is why it is called periodic inventory system, because the business periodically counts what it has in inventory. The inventory could be done yearly, quarterly, monthly, weekly, or based on another frequency. That is one of the disadvantages of the periodic inventory system. You need to count your inventory to know how many items you have in stock. That means that the business does not keep track of each item it purchases and each item it sells. So the business wouldn't be able to immediately answer the question of how much do we have in stock for this item. The only way to answer is to go to the warehouse or shelf and look at how many items are there. For the perpetual inventory system, on the other hand, the business keeps track of the inventory with every purchase or sale and knows how much it should have in its inventory based on those records. Such a system is more expensive because you need specific systems and processes, and that is why larger businesses typically use it. These businesses still have to count their inventory, but typically only perform what is called a cycle count, meaning you're just double checking the accuracy of your system and you're checking for loss and fraud. After all, the system would not know what inventory was broken, stolen, or for some reason is obsolete. So these businesses still need to count. Cycle counts count a certain percentage of products each period. For instance, you count 9% of the products in January and 9% of the products in February and 9% in March, so that you effectively cycle count through your entire inventory during the year. I briefly mentioned that we need a different chart of accounts, and there are 5 new accounts that we'll be using to record merchandising sales transactions. There are sales, sales tax payable, sales discounts, sales returns and allowances, and credit card expense. The sales account is the primary revenue account for a merchandising company. This account is a revenue account and has a normal credit balance. Merchandising businesses also are required to collect sales tax for the state tax agency, and the business records that amount as a liability on the balance sheet until the sales tax return is prepared and the liability is paid. The sales tax payable account has a normal credit balance. The merchandising business also uses the sales discount for early payment discounts and the sales returns allowances account when the customer returns merchandise or receives credit for damaged goods. These accounts are contra revenue accounts with a normal debit balance. We also use the credit card expense account when the merchandising businesses process credit card payments from customers and is charged a fee by the credit card processing company. So let's practice these transactions together. In our first transaction, Max Out Sporting Goods sells merchandise for cash for $500. Just like we've done in the past, we start by analyzing the transaction. What accounts increased and what accounts decreased. This transaction, Max Out has more cash. So cash increased. Cash is an asset. And according to the dealer mnemonic, when assets increase, we debit them. The second part of our transaction is that the sale of merchandise increased. This type of sales are revenue, and revenue increases with credits. So debit cash and credit sales. We record the sale of $500 for cash by first writing the date to the date column, then cash into the description column, and $500 into the debit column. On the next line, we slightly indent and write sales into the description and $500 into the credit column. Max Out Sporting Goods also grants credit terms to certain customers. On January 3rd, Max Out Sporting Goods sold merchandise on credit to Roy Anderson, issuing sales slip 1101 for $400. So two things happened here. One, monies owed by customers increased. We call that accounts receivable. And also sales of merchandise increased as well. Accounts receivable are assets and sales of merchandise is revenue. Assets increase with debits and revenue increases with credits. So accounts receivable debit and sales credit. We record this transaction by first writing the date into the date column, then accounts receivable into the description column, and $400 into the debit column. On the next line, we slightly indent and write sales into the description column and $400 into the credit column. In the third transaction, the credit customer Roy Anderson pays Max Out Sporting Goods on January 31st for the merchandise bought on January 3rd. In this transaction, cash increases and accounts receivable decrease. Cash is an asset and assets increase with debits. Accounts receivable is also an asset, but the company's assets decreased and assets decrease with credits. That means we debit cash and credit accounts receivable. To record this transaction, we start by writing the date into the date columns, cash into the description column, and $400 into the debit column. And on the next line, we slightly indent and write accounts receivable into the description column and $400 into the credit column. Most states and many local governments impose a sales tax on the sale of certain goods and services. Businesses are required to collect this tax from their customers and pay it to the tax agency. And there are special rules around what is called sales tax nexus, the requirement of a business to collect sales tax in a state. Some sales are exempt, whereas in other cases, the purchaser has a sales tax exempt certificate. In other cases, sales across state lines are only taxable if they exceed a certain dollar amount. You can probably already guess that this is a complex topic, and some accountants only focus on sales tax, determining sales tax nexus, filing applications, and filing sales tax returns. In general, though, when taxable goods and services are sold on cash or credit, the sales tax is recorded at the time of sale, even though it will be collected from the customer later in the case of a credit sale. A liability account called sales tax payable is credited for the sales tax charged. So let's look at this transaction where Max Out Sporting Goods was required to charge its customers an 8% sales tax. The amount collected for the sales tax on a $500 sale for cash is $40, which is calculated by multiplying $500 times 8%. And we're now dealing with a transaction that includes more than two parts. In this case, one debit and two credits. First, cash increased. Cash is an asset, and assets increase with debits. So we need to debit cash for the amount collected from the customer, which is $540. Then the merchandise sales increased, and those sales are considered revenue, and revenue increases with credits. That means we need to credit the sales account for the sale of $500. Last sales tax owed increased because MaxOut must pay the sales tax to the tax agency. And sales tax is a liability, and liabilities increase with credits, so we credit sales tax payable for $40. To record the transaction in the general journal, we write the date into the date columns and then debit the cash account for $540. On the next line, we slightly indent and credit the sales tax payable account for $40. And on the next line, we credit the sales account for $500. This next transaction is very similar, but instead of collecting the cash immediately from the customer, in this case, the customer and on purchase merchandise on credit for $600 plus sales tax. So let's analyze this transaction. First, accounts receivable increased, and accounts receivable are assets, and assets increase with debits. So we need to debit accounts receivable. Next, the merchandise sales increased, and those sales are considered revenue, and revenue increases with credits. That means we need to credit sales. Last, sales tax owed increased because MaxOut must pay the sales tax to the agency. Sales tax owed is a liability, and liabilities increase with credit. So we need to credit the account sales tax payable. To record the transaction in the general journal, we write the date into the date columns and then debit the accounts receivable account for $648, the amount we invoice the customer. On the next line, we slightly indent and credit the sales tax payable account for $48. And on the next line, we credit the sales account for $600. Sales tax can be quite complicated, and I have found it helpful in the past to use services such as Avalara that help with identifying sales tax nexus and filing the sales tax returns. In addition, Avalara can link directly into your accounting system so that, for instance, the sales team can give accurate quotes, including the sales tax right away. Please remember also that all sales transactions must follow a good control process. Only authorized individuals should be able to issue quotes, invoices, and return authorizations. In addition, auditors will want to test that these controls work properly and that salespeople do not give unauthorized discounts to customers. Also, auditors will want to tie out the total sales on the income statement to the sales invoice register. So it's very important for the accountant and the accounting team to have a good understanding of all sales transactions. I hope you found this video informative and gained a good understanding how sales and sales tax are recorded for cash and credit customers.